What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt Wyatt. So I recently went out to go see the new film called Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And look, I was not looking forward to the third Sonic movie. I didn't even like the first two films. I thought they were very cheesy, corny, over the top, that was geared more towards for children. And a lot of people enjoy that film, and it became a big hit at the box office. And most people will arguably say that this is one of the best video game adaptations of all time, which I don't agree. I thought the quality of the film itself was so bad, and I just really did not really care too much about the characters, especially the human characters in the first two films. But I will say that the second film was a little bit better than the first one, but it's not saying much. I still did not really care for the upcoming third film. Yes, we're going to have to deal with another hedgehog that is going to be more powerful than Sonic himself. And look, Ben Schwartz was a great fit to play the Sonic character, even though I didn't find his character all that likable in the first one, but he definitely made an improvement in the second movie. And Jim Carrey, who plays the iconic villain role called Dr. Eggman, who is a highly intelligent, twirly mustache villain that is like outsmarting Sonic, who is a formidable opponent. And look, I'm someone who is not a big fan of the Sonic world. I'm not a hardcore fan. I'm more of a casual fan that likes some of the games. I've only played a couple of the old ones, but I never really got into it. I never got really into that whole world and the whole lore, the mythos of the Sonic world. And coming into Sonic 3, now we got a new powerful opponent, and they brought the most iconic Sonic character in the Sonic world called Shadow Sonic, who is way more of a shadow of Sonic himself, who is very identical to him, and is much more powerful than Sonic himself. And this is going to be the toughest opponent that he's going to ever have to face ever in his entire life. And it's voiced by Keanu Reeves. And when I found out that Keanu Reeves was cast in the role, I thought, you know what? I could definitely see it. It makes perfect sense, especially when Paramount is wanting to grab him because he was coming off of the heels of the John Wick franchise, and he's one of the fan cast choice that they thought, you know what, Keanu Reeves would definitely be the best fit for Shadow Sonic. And after coming out of the theater seeing Sonic 3, not gonna lie, this movie is actually the best out of the three movies of you. It's actually so better than I thought it would be. Here's some of the things that they actually got right that I thought they got wrong in the first two films. You actually focus on the dynamic with the hedgehog characters, the whole team of hedgehogs with Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic doing their own missions together, not throwing these useless human characters that we don't need, because the way that they handled these human characters in the first two were so cheesy and corny and over the top, and they were not very likable, and I don't really care for them that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really love James Marsden as an actor, the one that who is a sheriff who took Sonic in the first film and and gave him a family that he never had in his entire life. I mean, that was one of the highlights that I liked about it, but most of the time they were just becoming unlikable and over the top. They were very cartoony. And most of the time we didn't even need these human characters. I didn't really care for them. Let's focus on the team Hedgehog, and that's what they did in this movie. And this third film is very action heavy. And Shadow Sonic, that is voiced by Keanu Reeves, he had a lot more depth of the backstory. I don't know how faithful they were in the lore of the Shadow Sonic character, but when most of you haven't don't know that he is a character that was created, and we don't know where he came from and why he was made and why he's so identical to Sonic himself, because he literally looks exactly like him, but he's much more powerful, who has a teleportation, who has a similar speed like Sonic, and also he has a bike, he has a gun as well. Dude, this dude is way more powerful than Sonic, and it's going to be the most toughest opponent that he ever had to face. And I thought Keanu Reeves was definitely made to play Shadow Sonic after watching this film. I thought his voice performance was so great. He added a lot more character depth to the backstory because he grew up in the lab for all these years. And he didn't really had a family. That's what the difference between Shadow Sonic and Sonic himself, that Sonic had a family that he loved and he was taught to love. And this Shadow Sonic was taught to hate. But the only thing that kept his humanity in check was the little girl that he had been friends with in a lab. With this girl, I believe her name is Maria, who's supposed to be related to someone important, but I'm not going to reveal too much who it is. And one of the best highlights of the movie was Jim Carrey himself, which originally in the second film he was supposed to retire after the second film, but then he changed his mind and they thought hey, we got something interesting that we want to do with your character and we want you to play another character, which is supposed to be Dr. Eggman's grandfather. So he's playing two versions of himself, and the way they handled it, I thought it was great. And the grandfather of Dr. Eggman had a lot more character depth in the backstory. I thought it was going to be so cheesy and over the top and like, oh my God, are they really pulling that Nutty Professor situation where we see the same actor playing different characters and a little bit more cartoony? But no, I thought he was great. He stole the spotlight. He was one of the highlights of the movie that I actually liked. I was more invested in the grandfather a little bit more than Dr. Eggman himself. Father, he added a lot more character depth and it was far more compelling than I thought it would be. Overall, they added great action set pieces. The choreography was spot on. The visuals were great. And seeing Shadow Sonic and Sonic himself duking it out was so epic. It was epic. I never thought I would say this in a million years. I thought this movie was going to suck, but it didn't. So I'm going to officially give my rating for Sonic 3. It is a 7 out of 10. That is my official rating. There are a lot of heartfelt moments that I never thought they were going to add into the movie. And the human characters with James Marsden and his wife, I thought they served a purpose and I thought they weren't thrown in for the sake of being there. And Krysten Ritter, which you may have known her from the other Marvel show from the Netflix series called Jessica Jones, she's playing the director of the government called Gun. I thought she was quite, it was just there. She didn't really do much in the movie, and I thought that they didn't really need to have her in the film. I feel like we could have done without. But whatever, it is what it is. But there are still a few moments in the film with the humor that felt very cringy and over the top that I did not like, but it did not really throw me out of the film. I recommend you should check out Sonic 3 if you haven't already. It did have some heavy moments, and I thought they added a little bit. I thought the movie was a little bit more darker than the first two films. I thought they really learned their lesson by giving us a good quality Sonic film, and I hope they keep continuing it. And also stay for the two post-credit scene, especially the mid-credit that they set up a new Hedgehog character for the next Sonic movie for the fourth film, and the second end credit scene. When you watch this film, you probably already know what you're going to expect going into the second post-credit scene. So, what did you think of the Sonic 3? Did you enjoy it? Or were you someone out there that did not like the movie and it wasn't made for you? Give me your honest thoughts in the comment section below. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm. I hope you guys have a great holiday and a great Christmas with your friends and family. And I hope you stay tuned for more of my content.